My own son looked me in the eye and said, "We just think you're not capable of managing your own life anymore." My hands went cold, the legal papers he'd just handed me feeling like a slab of ice. This wasn't protection, it was a takeover, and the price was my freedom. For years, I thought I was building a legacy. My life looked like a picture of perfect maternal success. When my son and his wife had my first grandchild, I was overjoyed. I wanted to give them the world, so I did. I paid off $35,000 of their student loans so they could start fresh. I gave them a $2,500 monthly allowance for 2 years, so my daughter-in-law could be a stay-at-home mom. I even renovated their kitchen, a $48,000 gift, because I believed families should have a beautiful space to gather. Every check I wrote felt like a stitch sewing our family closer together. The illusion was perfect. Until I saw the Instagram post. My daughter-in-law had tagged my son in a photo from a lavish vacation in Bora Bora. The caption read, "Living our best life thanks to our hustle." The date stamped on the photo was the same week I had quietly covered their mortgage because my son said work was slow. I felt a hot flush of shame crawl up my neck. But what I found next, hidden in a folder of old bank statements, was a pattern I could no longer ignore. That's when I made the call to my financial advisor. And that's when he told me, with a tense voice, that my son had already contacted him, asking for a full portfolio review, claiming he was helping his elderly and confused mother. The guardianship papers he handed me a week later were just the formal declaration of a war I didn't know we were in. I sat at my kitchen table for hours, just staring at those papers. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I wasn't crying. I was trembling with a pure, cold rage. The words diminished capacity and court-ordered guardian swam in my vision. This was my child, the boy I read bedtime stories to. He wasn't trying to protect me. He was trying to erase me, to put me in a gilded cage funded by my own life's work. I got my calculator out. The cold, hard numbers didn't lie. Over the past 5 years, I had gifted them $287,000. I had sacrificed my own dream of retiring near the ocean to keep their dream afloat. And for what? So they could post from 5-star resorts while secretly building a case that I was too senile to handle my own money? The hypocrisy was so vast, it took my breath away. I felt like the world's biggest fool. So I did something drastic. I called my son back, and with a voice I didn't even recognize as my own, I said, "Come over for dinner tomorrow. We can talk about it." I was setting a trap, but what happened at that dinner, it wasn't the confrontation I expected. It was something far, far worse, and it would force me to make a choice that would change the entire trajectory of my life. He arrived with his wife, both of them wearing these placid, pitying smiles. They didn't even wait for dessert. My son leaned forward and said, "Mom, we've talked to a lawyer. Just sign the papers. It'll be easier for everyone." And in that moment, the last thread of illusion snapped. I wasn't a mother, I was an ATM, and the account was now empty. My fear vanished. It was replaced by a crystal clear, terrifying calm. I looked at him and simply said, "No." The silence that followed was louder than any scream. I stood up, went to my office, and came back with a single sheet of paper. Strategic planning. It was a list. 1. I had already canceled all automatic transfers to their accounts. 2. I had changed the locks on my house that very afternoon. 3. I had retained my own attorney, a fierce woman who specialized in elder law. And 4, I had filed a formal complaint with my financial advisor's firm. The color drained from their faces. The pity in their eyes was replaced by sheer panic. But I saved the biggest revelation for last. "You should know," I said, my voice steady, "I've been keeping a journal, a very, very detailed one, for 3 years. And my lawyer has it. The real battle was just beginning." The legal letters flew back and forth. My attorney was a pit bull. In our one mediation session, my son shouted, "You owe us this. It's our inheritance." And I replied, with a peace that shocked even me, "My life is not your inheritance. It is my own." That was the moral twist. This wasn't about winning money. It was about reclaiming my soul. I didn't just fight them off. I transformed. I sold the too big house, took the money, and finally bought that small cottage by the sea I'd always wanted. I started painting again. I wake up now to the sound of waves, not the ding of a text message asking for money. Victory and transformation. And here is the lesson that redefined everything for me. You cannot buy love. You can only rent it at a very high price. And the moment you stop paying, you discover what was truly yours all along. The love that is conditional on your utility is not love at all. Letting go of that false obligation wasn't losing family. It was finding myself. He once said I wasn't capable of managing my own life. He was right, but not in the way he thought. I was incapable of managing a life centered on being used, so I built a new one centered on being alive. True strength isn't about what you can hold on to, but what you have the courage to release.